Now our choice for the most fascinating person of this year, and we believe the past 20. Remember at the beginning of the show when the president of ABC News told us who should be the most fascinating person of 1993? Well, I guess Rue Knowledge knew a thing or two. This program was born at the start of the Clinton era, and it appears we might be at the dawn of another. This year is the first time in decades that neither you nor your husband are in public office. Is that an enormous relief?
It is. It's a relief because I knew that I wanted to get off the high wire that I had been on for so long, to spend time just doing things that give us a lot of joy, playing with our dogs, going to movies, just hanging out.
Like normal people?
Yes, that's a good description.
Okay, here it comes. When will you, if you do, decide whether or not you're going to run for president?
Well, it's such a difficult decision, and it's one that I am not going to rush into. And I don't think we should be looking at the next election. I think we should be looking at the work that we have today. Our unemployment rate is still too high. We have people getting kicked off of food stamps who are in terrible economic straits, small businesses not getting credit. I could go on and on. So I think we ought to pay attention to what's happening right now.
I have to push for the answer about whether or not you might run for president.
I haven't made up my mind.
Really haven't?
Really have not. I will look carefully at what I think I can do and make that decision, sometime next year.
Does your husband want you to run?
He is very respectful. He knows that this is...
He does want you to run.
Well, he wants me to do what I think is right.
If you ran and you became president, what would they call your husband? First spouse?
I have no idea. First mate, I don't know.
Do you think it's important that we have a female president?
I do. I do think it's important. I don't know the exact timing of it or who that might be. But my friend Michelle Bachelet was just re-elected president in Chile. Dilma Rousseff, whom I admire greatly, is the president of Brazil. Angela Merkel is probably the most important leader in Europe, if not beyond. And it matters. It matters because we have half the population that has given so much to building this country, to making it work. And of course, I want to see a woman in the White House because, if I look at my friends and former colleagues who are now in the Senate, it was the women senators on both sides of the aisle who finally broke the fever over the government shutdown and the debt limit debate. They have been working across party lines, and we need more of that.
I listen to you and I think you got to run. Something, you got to run.
This is the way I talked, 40 years ago, Barbara. This is what gets me up in the morning. I care so much about what's going to happen to this country because I'm a beneficiary of all the sacrifice that my parents' generation and generations before made. I sure don't want to be part of a generation that sees America's dream be depreciated when I don't think that is necessary. There's so much more we can do.
You and I have indeed done so many interviews, and I'm so proud of the fact that we have done them.
Right.
What was the worst time when you look back?
The worst times really for me are the personal times, losing my father, losing my mother. Those are the hard times for me. I mean, when you're in the political public arena, you're going to get credit you probably don't deserve and blame you probably don't deserve. And you have to chart your own course and you have to stand up for what you think are the right decisions. I had an older woman who was a friend of mine. She said, at the end of your life, it's all about your relationships. And she said, I've loved and I've been loved, and all the rest is background music.
I was looking over past interviews with your husband and you, and one of the questions that I asked your husband was, what would he like his mark to be? What would you like your mark to be?
That I did the best I could to live a life of integrity and service. I'm always moved by the sayings and the stories about people who plant trees that they will themselves never sit under. I want to feel that I've made a contribution.
I would like you to note that I have not asked you about your hair. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate it. Happy holidays to you.
Thank you so much. Same to you, Barbara.